Hi, I'm John Feldt. This past week I went tubing on the Ixnatucknee River in north central Florida. This is a spring-fed river and it flows into the Swanee River. Recently, from Hurricane Debbie, it received quite a bit of rainfall and you can still see standing water here and there. From time to time I will be looking at rivers across the nation. Otherwise, across the nation this past week, very little rain in many spots and drought still dominates the weather picture. The tropics have been heating up, and we'll take a look at both drought and tropics on this week's edition of the Weekly Water Outlook. I thought I'd start out by showing the normal amount of rainfall across the nation during August. As you can see, the red is the heaviest amounts of rain, and those occur along the coastal parts of the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic and Florida. That's due to tropical moisture pushing into that area a lot of land, ocean type interaction. We also see from the Great Lakes up into the northeast U.S. also moderate amounts of rainfall. That's due to systems moving across that area, some northwest flow type systems that produce rain in that region as well. If we look out to the west, especially California and Pacific Northwest, very little rain during the month of August, typically in that region, about a half inch or less of rainfall. Now, the percent of normal rainfall last week from gauge data, you can see that hardly any rain, actually zero rain, fell over a very large part of the western U.S., far west. Very little rain, if any, over Texas and Oklahoma. And then over the eastern U.S., we had in green about a half inch of rain up to an inch or so, and some pockets of 3 to 4 inches of rain, maybe a little bit heavier, in parts of Alabama, and very scattered over the Carolinas and parts of the Ohio Valley, as well as Kentucky and Tennessee. That's that hit or miss type thunderstorm activity that we typically would see in late July and into August. The percent of normal rainfall last week, take a look at the red. That's the widespread areas of 25% or less of normal rainfall. We see that in the Pacific Northwest and Texas, in that region that receives zero rain. Pretty much elsewhere, you really see hit or miss type precipitation, blues and reds, and I mentioned that on my last couple briefings, that that's indicative of summertime precipitation, not real organized, except maybe perhaps Alabama, a little bit more in there. Otherwise, a summer type pattern. Drought remains in the news. We have extensive parts of the United States in drought. It has been expanding in many areas over the last month or so. We see the most significant drought in that dark red from parts of Arkansas, southeast Missouri, and up the Ohio River Valley. We also see the persistent area of drought over parts of central Georgia. So the big picture this week, well, when I made this, there really wasn't a whole lot of change from last week. The dominating pattern is high pressure over the western U.S., and that's going to keep that cap on rainfall over the western U.S., keep drought conditions expanding and intensifying. The upper flow is going to dip over the eastern U.S., and I think that's going to bring a system through every once in a while along that upper flow, and that will bring scattered showers and thunderstorms to the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and the northeast U.S. Very well could have some very strong northwest flow type situations moving from Minnesota across Iowa and then further off to the east. Along that jet stream and south, there'll be a lot of tropical moisture, and we will have scattered showers and thunderstorms over the southeast U.S. and Florida as well. Here are the major trends over the following week. Very similar to last week, little if any rain over the Pacific Northwest, California, and large parts of Texas and Oklahoma, New Mexico, and parts of Arizona. We see those scattered showers and thunderstorms over the northern part of the U.S. And then this axis of daily precipitation, and this looks sort of interesting. We are going to have a frontal boundary that will stall in this region, and with a lot of tropical moisture, perhaps even with an unorganized tropical system off the southeast coast, we could get some very heavy rain in the axis over the southeast U.S., and most of that area could really use it. So we'll have to see. I've been expecting this for a number of weeks now. Maybe this will be the week that it gets a little bit more organized. Speaking of the tropics, Ernesto has formed out there. As of this recording, it's a tropical storm. I think there's greater confidence over the last couple of days that this is going to move into Mexico and not have much on the impact on the U.S. at all. So keep an eye on that from the National Hurricane Center. Right now, it looks like there's pretty good confidence that it will stay south of our area. And other systems out there right now look like they will not be impacting the U.S. this week either. So here are your takeaway points. Drought and lack of rain will remain the top story throughout this week. There'll be a continued increase in soil moisture deficits and drought impacts. We see scattered thunderstorms continuing over the southeast U.S. Ernesto will move inland south of the U.S. into Mexico. Keep in mind this is the flash flood season, and I would not be surprised to see some northwest flow events over the northern tier of the U.S. This has been the Weekly Water Outlook. Take a look at my website, bluewateroutlook.com. You can subscribe to get information throughout the week at the website. Thank you for listening.